It's time for the KickAround, the Ticket's weekly show all about soccer. 2 hours of HSOs on the clubs, leagues, and tournaments of the world's game. It doesn't matter if you're new to the sport, don't worry. This is the Ticket. We're just kicking it around. Now, our very own yellow and red card. Andy Swift and Peter Welpton.
And if Chloe Kelly can score this penalty, then England will be champions again. And this would be to win it for England. England are champions again! Chloe Kelly, once again the heroine.
Cockiest penalty kick taker of all time, Chloe Kelly?
Because of her wind-up.
Howdy ho, P1s! Welcome to the KickAround, Saturdays 2 to 4 here on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket, where you, the good P1, sits around, talks soccer, and all that applies. Don't forget, you can find us on our website, thekickaround.com. Be one of the 7 people a week who visit our website. Make it 8. Hey there, it's me, Peter. And to my left, but to your right, as you stare lovingly into your broadcast device or streaming handheld thingamajig, it's Andy Dalton Swift.
The answer is no. She is not the cockiest penalty kick taker.
You don't think so?
No.
She's pretty cocky. I mean, for good reason.
Yeah, those that do the Panenka every time, right down the middle, that's pretty cocky too, right?
But are there players that do that every single time?
Maybe not.
Okay.
You're mesmerized by her wind-up, where she does that weird kick
like
first.
The crane?
Yeah. But that's just, and when you do things like take PKs or field, repetition is really important. Batting and baseball, got to do it the exact same way, all the mannerisms to make sure your timing's right.
I'm more thinking about kind of how she reacts after she scores. Like the whole calm down thing. I had this the whole time. This was never in question.
Yeah.
Because even Ronaldo, who's like the cockiest of all footballers, tends to look like he's sweating it a bit. And she just doesn't look like she's sweating it at all.
Ronaldo does the whole breathing in and out for 18 minutes just to so the cameras can be on him longer.
Exactly my point. Yeah. She's just like, I know I've got this. Nobody's keeping me from doing this. And even when she missed the one prior to that one, she tapped in she knocked in the tap in.
Yeah.
The follow-up.
Yeah.
And then she did the whole everybody calm down on Chloe Kelly.
Well, you get to the winners belong the spoils. Is that the saying that you?
Yeah, I'm just curious if a good P1 is going to send us a note on social media.
No, this guy or this girl is
is cockier, and they'll probably be right. But she's the most. It's recency bias. We've been watching. She's one of the few in the tournament that actually converted
scored
penalties.
on PKs. Yeah.
Did we end up finding out, even after the final, that it was about 50% for the tournament?
I think where it was and what happened on the semis and the final, I think it probably got to 50.
That's bad.
It is.
That's
real
bad.
Because nowadays, conversion rate is 88, 90%, something like that.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the ones that just flat out miss the net all the way together.
What's your PK conversion rate?
0.
Okay, so 50% is pretty good in your world.
Yeah, well, for sure, yes. But I'm terrible at it, so I feel like I'm an authority on bad penalty.
Do you not do the Ronaldo breathing in and out exercise? Maybe that's the problem.
I flat out panic and change my mind, and at the last second.
You overthink it.
I think I'm going to hit it with my right, and then
you
I end up
overthink it just
and,
like when you're preparing the run sheet for our show. Overthinking things, same thing when you
something like for sure. All right, it's time for the most important and serious. Well, actually, let me promote first. I didn't do that. Andy, I'm sorry to do this to you, but we are going to do a little tiny bit of transfer window talk because some stuff has happened that I think is worth noting. Andy is going to debut a continuation. We're going to formalize this for the rest of the following year until the World Cup happens. Are we calling it World Cup Nerd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Came up with that. I think that's good.
Weekly segment of Andy and I just telling you something super nerdy about the World Cup. Riffing about so last week it was predicting start times for games for the next World Cup. This week,
qualifiers.
And yes, we are going to have the return of the EatAround.
Yeah, high five.
That's how That's how I get an high five from Andy. Is that agreeing to do an EatAround, and it's going to include the country of Andy.
Today it will be Italy. Yeah.
So we'll talk about eating in Italy.
That's because of P1 sent us some questions.
That's
so
right.
What do we do?
P1 started it? Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's do the most important and serious of all the soccer segments. It's time for... Headline. Now, the first two headlines are follow-ups from last week. And I'm a little bit... this one is interesting to me because this relates to the Man City charges. And we talked about the fact that it just feels like that these things are going to end up being rug dust here before too long.
We're just going to fall asleep.
And we got even more evidence of that this week, as many of you know, or maybe only a few of you do because you don't follow Bournemouth, Everton, Manchester United, or...
That's it. There are four, right?
There's four. Who did I... Bournemouth, Everton, United, and... Who's the fourth?
Fulham?
No.
Brentford.
Bournemouth. No, not Brentford.
Yeah.
Crap in a sock. Who is it? Anyway, so on the Chicago broadcast.
This is how important preseason friendlies are.
Well, yes. No, I'm brain farting because I'm focused on this. On the broadcast of the Chicago games on Wednesday night, Rebecca Lowe and the two Robbie. No, it was Tim and Robbie have
hammers.
Oh, that's right. It's West Ham. Cat's going to be so... Actually, you know where Cat is today? He's in Atlanta. He's going to the game tomorrow.
Is he?
Yeah, he and his wife traveled out
there.
Who are
they playing?
They play Bournemouth, I think.
Okay. Nice. That's dedication right there.
So anyway, they have Mr. Masters, the head of the entire Premier League...
What a name.
On hand, Richard Masters, and they have him at the table side.
Yes, Mr.
And they're asking him all the BS questions about whatever. And then Rebecca lines him up, and I'm like, uh-oh, here she goes. She's going to ask. She's going to go third rail. Here she goes.
Richard, away from the Summer Series for a second, I have to ask you about Manchester City and the 115 charges. It feels like we've been waiting forever for a resolution, an answer of what's going to happen. Can I ask you for the latest on that you know of?
You can ask, but unfortunately, you know, our rules are very clear. It's a confidential process, so I really can't give any information out on timing or anything like that. There's nothing more I can add, so sorry about that.
Okay, appreciate it.
It was the greatest let-off of all time.
You know, they NBC to ask these kind of questions. They pay the Premier League billions and billions of dollars for the right to be able to be the one that asks this question.
Why even bother? Just to say that you asked the question?
What I would honestly, because we know everything. So
right.
This is how we would have done it.
We dabble in professional journalism.
Yes.
Or gerbalism, one of the two.
I would have just had her say, hey, everybody wants to know this. We want to ask, but we understand that you can't talk about it because of these reasons. So we're not going to ask you. I think that would have been more honest. Like everybody's in the know, right?
I mean, the way she did it,
that would have been more
like
transparent.
Before they went on air, she's like, "Look, I have to ask you. You don't have to answer. I'll let you. I'm not going to push. Just say you can't answer." And they said it was all squared up beforehand.
Or his people talk to her people, and
Rebecca gets to tell everybody, "Well, I asked."
Right.
Seems uncool. The other thing that we wanted to talk about was a follow up on Mr. Louis
Paqueta.
Whatever.
Yeah, Paqueta.
He has officially been cleared on all charges of spot fixing.
Your feelings on that?
I guess I felt like at the time they had a lot of evidence on the dude.
Yeah.
That all looked very damning, and I'm very curious because none of the stuff that they've released
it was
so
prop
far,
bets, right?
Yeah, it was like getting a yellow card for holding the ball too long.
And somebody said, red flag. There's no way he would have done that on purpose.
There were like 8 different, very clear, weird incidences of him doing things that all felt like, okay, red flag. Remember back when you started doing the KickAround and you told everybody you were part of the whole
integrity
board, and all this, and you were like, look for these red flags,
Yeah.
and every single one of these was from the book of Andy's watch out for these red flags.
Yeah, it's more sophisticated now, by the way, in terms of detecting because so much more is above board now. You have these monitoring companies. How do you say it? Say it for me.
Monitoring
companies that because a lot of it is digital. You can see betting patterns that look odd, which back in the day you couldn't do that.
Exactly.
It was all underground.
So they didn't really clarify what they found out that cleared him.
Yeah.
Which makes it all the weirder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, exactly.
But anyway, the good news is Lewis's career isn't going to come to an end, and now Hammers are trying to sell him. And now the question is, does he have a case for suing the FA? Because remember, City was about to buy him for $85 million and he was about to increase his salary exponentially. Does he have the ability to turn around and sue them for false allegations and blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
And cost of...
That's a $50 million difference in the fee, and he gets, 10-15% of that?
Something like that, yeah, for sure. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The other thing that happened this week is we found out when the most important thing between now and the start of the World Cup, the singular event that has to happen that will give us all the best guidance of how this World Cup is going to go in 2026, the draw.
Yeah.
And it's not even happening in a host city. It's happening in Vegas at the Sphere on December the 5th.
Is that a Saturday?
That's a good question. I don't know what day of the week it is.
I'm just wondering, is there conflict with MLS Cup?
Oh, okay, so that's actually an interesting question. Garber was openly worried that it would conflict with MLS Cup, and apparently it's 2 days prior to MLS Cup.
Okay,
so I think it's Thursday or Friday.
Yeah,
it must be.
Yeah,
because I think MLS Cup is Sunday the 9th.
Okay.
And this is on the 5th.
Yeah, okay.
So for those who are new to this or don't know, the draw is the event where they officially put all the qualified teams into their appropriate groups. And it's this incredibly, if you thought the NFL draft was an over-the-top television production, man, you haven't seen the World Cup draw.
Musical, they have 2 hours of pre-draw event before they get to the 15-minute draw.
And we mentioned a little while ago how we're going to start our new World Cup nerd segment.
Yeah.
One of those segments will be specific. As we get closer to December the 5th, we'll get into deep stories about the World Cup draw.
And theories on how the draw is fixed.
And now we get to see the draw for the first time with 48 teams.
You going to Vegas?
No. Why would I do that?
I don't know. I thought you were
well, we won't be on that weekend because you're going to be at wherever MLS Cup is.
That's right.
It won't obviously be here in Frisco. But
and it won't be in Vegas.
And it won't be in Vegas. So how are you going to manage that?
Well,
so
what if it's in L.A.?
Or you're not going to the
before?
draw?
Think about this.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
We could do the draw on Thursday. Or are you inviting me to go on a road trip with you?
No, not even close. I'd never even. How did you even infer that? I said I'm going to MLS Cup. What if it's in L.A.? It would be easy for me to go to Vegas.
Did Andy just invite Peter to go on a trip?
Nowhere. Not even close.
Not even close. A couple of other things dealing with referee stuff. So during the Club World Cup, did you ever pay attention to the fact that the refs were wearing cameras and they were doing a bunch of replays showing the point of view from the referee? Yeah. What was your reaction to that?
And when he was running, the camera would go up and down.
Yeah, the motion sickness stuff.
It was interesting.
Yeah. So they're testing that.
Are they where?
In different leagues.
Okay.
Like the Premier League is thinking about it.
Just like the umpire cam.
Yeah.
And I think in football, haven't they started doing that in football too?
NFL football?
Yeah, I thought
they may. Yeah. They may. So that's actually pretty interesting if, in fact, that goes down.
Are you anti-camera?
No.
It's fine, right?
The ones where the guys are running and it gets a little bumpy, that's more annoying, but sometimes they actually have some interesting points of view. Like you get a really clear idea of what the referee was looking at. Right. I think it's useful in small amounts.
Plus interesting.
And don't forget, there are changes to the rules that are now officially in place for everything moving forward. The biggest one is the goalkeeper holding the ball. Once the goalkeeper grabs possession of the ball, he or she has 8 seconds to release it.
We saw that in Club World Cup. I liked it.
We did, but we didn't see it in the Europa tournament.
Okay.
So I think they're maybe because the
Europa.
The women's Euros.
Oh, the Euros.
Yeah, sorry, I called it Europa. The women's Euros. They did. I don't think they did it in that.
Okay. I was assuming they had.
I didn't see it.
Okay,
maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to let everybody know, the referee there's a very clear set of rules about when possession is started. Referee then begins to count in their head, starting at 8, and when they get to 5, they put their hand up in the air if the ball has not been released. Count down to 1. If the ball is not released by the time the referee's done counting, the other team gets a corner kick. So that's the new rule.
Yeah, and we saw it play out once in Club World Cup. Did you see it?
Yes. I think it was a Chelsea game. Yeah. So that. And then just the other thing for everybody to keep an eye on is there's a different version of VAR being tested. People are giving the nickname VAR Light so that it can be used in lesser, lower level leagues and so forth. And it still relies on video, but not as many cameras, and the rules and the implementation is a little lighter.
Okay.
But it is being tested in different places. We'll put a pin in that. I think it'll become more of a thing in the next year or so.
Yeah, I think it's good that that's happening, right?
I want to see how well it works. Because part of it is that in this is that coaches or managers are given a challenge. So if VAR doesn't review something, or they don't think VAR has reviewed something very well, the manager can stop the game and request a more thorough review.
Just as part of VAR Light, or in general?
I think, if I'm reading this correctly, this is about VAR Light. Now, I did read an article that implied that maybe the Spanish leagues were testing this as part of normal VAR, but I was a little confused on how that was playing out. Do you know anything more about this,
No, I
Mr.
do not. No.
Official match coordinator?
I know the Dallas Cup, that CONCACAF sets up VAR for us for our finals, all the finals and semis, and I always assumed it was a light version of VAR, and it's better than not. I mean, it works.
Sure, I guess. Did VAR get used a lot in Dallas Cup this year?
Yeah, at the right times. Yeah, there was a couple of overturned calls and things like that.
Wow.
Sure.
Oh no! Look at the time. We're going to get yelled at. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, transfer window stuff next on the Kick Around. It is the return of the much-beloved Kick-Around favorite, the EatAround. We'll do that here in about 45 minutes or so. Welcome back to the Kick-Around. It is just Andy and I once again. Lars will be joining us next week as we do the preview and prediction show for the upcoming Premier League season.
Which country will he be joining us from?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be some sort of exotic European location.
Okay.
Do not be surprised.
Okay.
It'll probably be some country I cannot pronounce.
The expectation. We now have expectations. We have demands and expectations.
I'm just hoping it's not third world enough that he doesn't have good internet.
That's Lars. He'll make sure of that.
That's very important to us.
Well, he may not. It may be very much a country with good internet, but he may be in the middle of a golf course.
That's
and
true.
And therefore have spotty internet.
True. That's all true fact. Yes, very good. All right, before we move on to other things, I know this is not your favorite thing, Andy, but we do need to get into transfer window.
I thought you meant soccer in general.
We're going to, yes. Poor Andy. He's so beaten by.
No.
Man, when they started talking baseball earlier before the show with the other guys, Andy lit up like a Christmas tree. I haven't seen Andy light up about soccer like that in forever. Anyway, transfer window talk.
Yeah.
The obvious big drama going on is, will Liverpool money whip the entire country of Saudi Arabia into selling them Isak? Andy, you are a Liverpool correspondent. Will that happen?
My gut says no.
Really?
Yeah. Like they've already spent a lot of money, right? Yes.
Over 300 million euros.
Right. They are smart about how they go about spending their money. I think the latest offer was 110.
Yes,
110.
That's the only offer they've officially put on the table that has been that has been stated.
I read somewhere that Liverpool would be willing to go as far as 170. People thought that's insane.
In dollars, you mean?
Yeah. Even 110. I say move on. I say move on.
Even if you sell Nunes?
Yeah, I think what they've spent factors in Nunes being sold at some point.
I am curious to watch.
You think they'll keep going?
Well, I think a lot of this comes down to how hard Isak pushes it with Newcastle. If he really gets adamant and they get the sense they're just going to end up with an unhappy striker on their hands.
He's back to training,
Yeah, I saw that too. That's the big question. It's kind of like the Micah Parsons thing. How far do you push it?
That's a different.
I mean, if
issue.
you can get, I don't remember what they paid for Isak. It was a lot, but it wasn't 100 million euros. So even Saudi Arabia likes to make money every once in a while. So
and he hasn't said it's Liverpool or bust. He just wants to go, right? I think that's the sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that was the other one that kind of threw me off was the word that Ollie Watkins has said if Villa wants to sell him, he does not want to go to Newcastle.
Okay.
But he will go to United or Everton. Did you see that?
No. He's probably looking at positionally where
Yes, it's all about yes. And apparently Newcastle is so far up north.
Yeah.
It's not the desirable place to live because it's 5.5 hours away from London. And if you're in kind of the Midlands or Liverpool, Manchester area, it's a 2.5, 3 hour train ride down back to where all the parties are. I feel bad for Newcastle fans now. So maybe that is all part of it. We'll keep a pin in that one. I still think he's going to end up there, but that would be 400 million euros in spending in one window by Liverpool of all clubs.
So you think he is going to Liverpool? Is that your guy?
I think he is, and I think he ends up going for less than what the PIF wants to sell him for, just because I think if he wants to leave, he's going to raise a stink, and Liverpool's probably the team that's going to put out the most money to make it happen.
Yeah. By the way, Ollie Watkins, he's in Birmingham because
he's in Villa.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Birmingham.
Right.
You said London.
No, I'm saying it's closer to London.
Right. Where he is now. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I understand.
Or Everton and Liverpool or Manchester versus moving all the way up north.
That makes sense.
The other big weird one is related back to Major League Soccer. As Son has told Tottenham he's ready to go, and it appears he's moving to L.A.
That's the hot rumor right now. Money?
$20 million.
That's a lot of dollars.
For an MLS team.
That's a lot.
I don't know if that's a record. I think somebody spent slightly more than that for somebody.
Now, he can still ball.
Yeah.
And he would be good in MLS. He's got it's not a vacation for him. He's got the work ethic. Number two, he's like in history probably number one around South Korean soccer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is the idol of idols. Think about the marketing, all the revenue that the club could rake in.
From
having him,
the Korean community in California, it'll be huge.
So the $20 million factors into that. I think it's a great, and he also has said that going to the U.S. is appealing because the World Cup is coming here. They're already qualified for the World Cup, so he wants to get a taste of that environment.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it sure does. Boy, it's pretty great. And it would be
awesome. Great having him in the league.
It would be really cool to see him.
Dude, he's a good player. He can still play.
So I guess that means you're just as excited that Matt Turner is coming back to Major League Soccer.
I think it's the best move for him.
Yeah, it is.
Right? 100%. It's the right decision.
He's on a year-long loan with an obligation to buy with the Revolution at New England.
And the reason it's the right move is because he'll play because he hasn't been playing. And if he wants to stand between the pipes for World Cup 2026 right here in America, he's got to play.
And the weird off-channel one that I thought I'd throw out there is Dallas's very own Charlie Kellman. Now, remember, Charlie is an Englishman who played for FC Dallas, was a star for Leyton Orient last year, helped them get to the League One final.
Right.
And he also scored the goal that got them to the final over Charlton.
He led the league, right?
He led the league in scoring.
Yeah.
Now, he was on loan to Orient from QPR.
Yeah.
So his loan was over. QPR has now sold him to Charlton.
Oh.
So now he's playing for the team in League One that he knocked out of the playoffs last year.
Interesting.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
He's openly always talking about wanting to come back and play for FC Dallas in MLS.
Yeah.
That is, if he had that offer on the table, he'd take it instead of playing in League One.
He's a 9 though, right? Does he play Peter Musa's position? We're in good shape right now. We're in good shape right now at the 9.
Good shape. All right. I know that's not all the big names and all the biggest news, but that's how I kept Andy interested in this segment. When we come back, we will get into something that Andy and I do for you so that you don't have to. We will review Brady and the Blues next year on the KickAround. The official debut of a new KickAround segment, World Cup Nerd, coming your way in about 15 minutes on Ye Old KickAround. Howdy. Welcome back. Now, this all started years ago in the KickAround when a soccer documentary showed up on Netflix called what was it called?
Sunderland Till I Die.
Sunderland Till I Die. I knew it was Sunderland something. Good Lord, my brain locked up. Sunderland Till I Die, which is still, agreed, Andy, our favorite soccer documentary ever.
Because it was the first.
Really?
Yeah, I think because it was the first, you tend to...
But even if you put them, like, what would you consider to be a close second?
I think season 1 of Wrexham was also pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, okay.
And I enjoyed the Leeds one because this is the thing.
The Leeds one was great because it was all the...
Sunderland was all about the team and the bond with community.
And the train wreck.
Yes, but really it was all about how the community and the team were one and the ups and downs were felt together, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Leeds then was all about the soccer and putting together a team, and that's why Leeds was fascinating.
And Bielsa.
And it gave us behind the scenes on the soccer side.
Fair.
Then Wrexham was all that stuff, and an American ownership group takes over.
And your man crush on Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, well, but, okay, so this will come up as we talk in this segment. Okay? I think you're going to appreciate, well, anyway. Yes.
So the reason why we're bringing this all up is that since Sunderland Till I Die, there has been a litany of soccer documentaries and content to choose from. Some of it great, like Wrexham. Some of it not so great.
All taking place in the UK, by the way, so
like
far.
Some of the Amazon Prime behind-the-scenes stuff, like the Man City one, the Juventus one. There was another one. It was all
Arsenal,
very promotional, very
club-driven with decisions.
Yes.
We don't count those.
Well, right now, at your disposal, soccer fans, not 1, not 2, but 3 clear knockoffs of Welcome to Wrexham.
Mm-hmm.
The one we're not going to talk about is the one that is most directly related to the Wrexham one because Ryan and Rob are also investors in this, which is the one about Necaxa, the Mexican team that Eva Longoria is in charge of.
And we'll get to it.
Yes. And in fact, in the last season of Welcome to Wrexham, you can see Eva Longoria in the clubhouse or in the suite multiple episodes, and that's because she's in the middle of negotiating this deal with them about doing the show about Necaxa. But the one that launched this week, the first one I think everybody knew about was Brady and the Blues, which is the Tom Brady takeover.
Yeah, built in Birmingham.
On Amazon Prime. And then the one that I didn't know about until I stumbled across it because David Muir on ABC Nightly News did a little promotional feature about it. I do watch the news.
Old man.
It's called Running with the Wolves.
You're so old.
And it turns out, I didn't know this.
I'm sorry, do you watch network news?
Yes.
You do?
You don't?
I don't watch network news on TV. No, I don't. Do any of you guys watch network news on TV?
Yeah.
No? Thank you.
I watch network.
Okay, no,
Does that make me a bad
I knew
person?
that 8 people still watch network news. I didn't know you were one of them.
That makes me special, then.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, at the end of the news, David Muir... Come on, man. He's cute. He promotes this thing called Running with the Wolves. And it turns out, I didn't know this, but I guess if I watched Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos on their morning show, I would know that essentially about the same time Rob and Ryan bought Wrexham in the National League, Kelly and Mark and another friend of his bought the majority ownership in a Italian club called Campobasso.
Yeah. At the time, they were 5th division, right? They were 5th division.
Yes, they were 5th division and played. Yes, and won their way up to Serie C.
3rd division.
Don't they pronounce it Che?
Yeah, but we're in an English language show, just so people can follow.
I can never get it right. When I try to say it right, I'm being stupid and nerdy, and when I say it the American way, I'm being
That's what's
ignorant.
fun.
Okay.
It's just making fun of
you.
Which
right.
Exactly. No, because we're talking about it for the first time, so let's just say what it is. It's
Serie C. It's the 3rd division.
Right.
And so both of these shows debuted this week, and it's on, by the way, it's on ESPN and ESPN Plus, and there's 5 or 6 episodes of Running the Wolves already out. Brady and the Blues only has 3 episodes out on Prime. You and I have both watched the first episode of both of these shows. We have not talked about our review of either one of them. On purpose, and that's what the rest of this segment, we have some time left.
And we should say that the Brady one picks up, the first show was really a recap of the first year they owned the team, and now it'll pick up year 2.
Right.
Yes. Episode 2 picks up, and all shows now moving forward will be all about year 2 of ownership. The Kelly Ripa show, what is it
Mark
called?
Consuelos.
Yeah.
Running with the Wolves.
Running with the Wolves, the Italian-based one, picks up now in year 3. They recap quickly what happened in years 1 and 2, which is exactly what happened with Wrexham. They got promotions every year, from the 5th to the 4th and the 4th to the 3rd. So now we are picking up, after a brief recap of what happened the first 2 years, in year 3.
After they got promoted into Serie C.
And that's because they could only get a deal to get this thing done once they got to a higher division.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
I didn't know that. Okay.
They didn't really even try because they said they were playing in bad pitches and things just weren't set up for
So which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about the Brady one first, because that's the one we teased last week.
Okay.
And the plan was for us to watch it yesterday when it dropped and talk about it today. You brought up the Wolves one, the Italian-based one, said you were going to start it. I was going to start at a different date, and we were going to talk about it in the future. I decided to go ahead and watch the first episode last night as well. So we could talk about the Brady one.
Okay, go.
So it's a clear knockoff of the Wrexham document or show. Whatever, it's not a documentary series, but this is much more. To me, it's much more corporate, drier, all about Brady. And it just, I didn't stay, and maybe, you know what I liked about the Wrexham show was that it was new, and it gave us a behind the scenes of an American ownership group, getting to know the culture, understanding the game, all these things that, we learned about the group when they took over Wrexham that was charming, and also it was Ryan Reynolds. So, but it's all the same premise. It starts the same. The beauty shots of the working town, the quick review of the history of the club, the ups and downs, mostly the downs, the interviews with the supporters, the apprehension, but the hope that the American ownership group is going to do well, the cultural clashes, the soccer ignorance. It's all the same script, but you don't have Ryan Reynolds to add charm and humor. It's just, to me, it's very dry. And the big turnoff was like a couple minutes in, the owner says, we're in it to make money. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's the honest.
Yeah, what is the name of the finance guy, the bald finance guy in the blue suit? I forget his name, who's the co-owner. Wagner, yes. So he's a big Wall Street finance guy. He's, very straightforward,
turnaround
honest
specialist.
Yeah, he's big into turning around. My reaction to the first episode is much along the same lines with you, which is this is so focused on Tom Brady.
A little arrogant, too.
Yes, and I also feel like the problem with Tom and the finance guy Wagner is that neither one of them are actors, and so I always feel like they're putting something on for the camera. And while I realize that Rob and Ryan are always doing the exact same thing, they're professional actors and they know how to do that and make it seem genuine. Tom doesn't know how to do that. So when Tom says something super arrogant like, you guys need to call me by my proper name like Lord and Savior, he's clearly joking, but it's very obvious he's putting it on for the camera. Now, what I will give it credit for is what everybody, because Birmingham had such a successful second season where they literally dominated League One and got promoted to the championship going away.
Which is going to be the show,
Which
right?
is the rest of this season. What many people had forgotten was that Tom and Wagner, those two guys, single-handedly burned that thing to the ground in quick order because a guy named John Eustace was the manager. When they took over the club,
they were in sixth place.
They were in sixth place. They had won a big game the week prior, and I remember hearing this all over the place when they did it. They fired him to hire Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
And Wayne Rooney proceeded to go in there, lose, I think, 14 games in a row or go winless in 15. They had to sack him. They ultimately got relegated from the championship to League One, which was the lowest Birmingham City had been in 30 years. And they were all very open and honest about that, and I thought that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes,
for sure. That the fessing up about that was good, but it also, I think it plays positively for them as far as how they want people to portray them. I don't like the arrogance that they think they're going to come in. They don't understand much about the game, which is fine. Okay, they're going to learn it. They don't understand much about the culture or supporter culture, and I'm sure we're going to have that kind of conflict this season. They're probably going to show that.
Especially in a place like Birmingham where fans are famous for really crossing. I mean, that's the same club where a guy came out of the stands and punched Jack Grealish in the back of the head.
They showed the clip.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was playing for Villa, the crosstown rival at the time.
Right.
So that was good. What did you make of Tom Brady taking shots at Wayne Rooney, being lazy?
Yeah, it was one sentence. Whatever. It was good for TV.
It was the lead up to them firing him.
Yeah. He said it in the car to the guys filming him or his posse. He has a posse, too, by the way.
He's Tom Brady.
Yes, men.
Yes, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of like, And he kind of says it in passing, but they used it like left and right to promote the show.
He uses the F word way too much on this show, which makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's part of him trying to be cool and fit in.
Like when he gives the pregame speech?
He's trying to fit in. Like,
I
was one of you guys.
I
was sitting in those seats where you guys are sitting.
All right, so I want to ask you a question.
You weren't.
We have so little time.
Okay.
Are Wayne Rooney and Tom Brady at all comparable as sportsmen? He won 7 Super Bowls. Wayne Rooney won the Premier League how many times? Won Champions League how many times? Scored some of the most.
But Brady can be considered the greatest player in his sport, and Wayne Rooney not even close.
Fair enough.
Not even. Ryan Reynolds and Tom Brady. Is Tom Brady bigger than Ryan Reynolds, or because one is like?
Question. I guess it depends on Hollywood versus sport.
Yeah, one is a Hollywood megastar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, we don't have too much time. Now, I'll start with Running with the Wolves.
Okay.
This is the Mark Consuelos, who is the husband of Kelly Ripa. He is from Spain and Italy. He grew up in Italy. Now, the thing that makes this show different, and the reason why I found myself surprisingly attracted once I got into it, is I did not know that Mark Consuelos actually kind of knows the game.
Yeah.
And it turns out that his business partner really knows the game. And when you listen to them talk about building this team, they understand supporter culture, community building. They understand the game at a very technical level and building rosters, everything that the Wagner guy and Tom Brady, Rob and Ryan do not.
Right.
And so while the show itself, again, is very much in the formula of Welcome to Wrexham, it does have this very different tilt that these guys are playing. They play a preseason friendly because they've had to rebuild the team for the third division. They play a preseason friendly against Dagenham and Redbridge, which were playing in the National League in England, the 5th tier, and they lose that friendly 3-0 at home. So that gives you an idea of where this team is at this particular moment in time.
Yeah, so I like that. And I also like that even though it was formulaic and it was a lot like Wrexham in many ways, except for what you mentioned, it takes place in Italy. And just the fact that it's not another show in the UK.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we've had enough of those.
Yeah.
So just culturally it's different. The food, the scenes, all that is different. What gets on my nerves about this show, and they're trying, they bring Kelly Ripa into the
I wish I was an Italian football problem.
So fine. Look, her personality, it is what it is. But I think there's a lot of forced, like off the pitch family interaction and buying the house and this and that.
There's a running storyline where Mark and Kelly are debating about buying a house in Italy. He doesn't want to do it, and she keeps going on to the first episode. We'll see how. I've only watched one episode.
Yeah, right.
We'll see how it goes.
And they're only 4. This one's only 4.
4 episodes total?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if they just released 4 and there would be more after that.
Yeah, that's what I've read. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's called Running with the Wolves. Kamabasso, which is playing in Serie C, the 3rd division, and that can be found on ESPN Plus. And Brady and the Blues, which is Tom Brady and Birmingham City, is on Amazon Prime. They're both up now. Go check them out. I would say they're worth at least watching the first episode, and if you dig it, stick with it.
I'll watch Brady one more because I think in fairness, I want to see if it it strays away from being so dry and corporate.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. They're both very, very well produced and edited and shot. I will give them credit for that. They learned a lot of lessons from Wrexham in terms of how to make this look good.
Yeah.
And
it's all for the beauty shots of the town, the old history, the supporters.
How cool!
All this.
How cool is that Italian stadium, that football stadium for Kamabasso?
If they get promoted, they're going to have to work on renovating it, though.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right, there you go. We watch soccer TV so that you don't have to. When we come back, it's a new Kick-Around segment officially. We're doing it officially. World Cup Nerd next year on the Kick-Around. Earlier this week, FIFA made millions of dollars without selling a single World Cup ticket. How did they pull that off? We'll tell you here in about 20 minutes or so on the Kick-Around. Welcome back. It is me, Peter, and that there is Andy. And last week, because look, from here on out, Andy and I are going to beat you over the head with World Cup stuff because the World Cup is coming, kids. Less than a year away from it pretty much sucking up all the air in Dallas-Fort Worth for about 8 weeks. Was that a fair amount of time before it starts and after it ends?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, a month before it's just going to be all the rage. Yeah.
I don't think most people know how much of a thing it's going to be around here. It's going to be hard to get reservations. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard to get around traffic-wise.
Forget about staycations in DFW because you ain't getting a hotel.
Yeah. No staycation, fancy restaurant reservations. Yeah, I'm just telling you, people, stand by. Anyway, so last week we did a segment about making predictions on the World Cup start times because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a very important, but also a kind of a nerdy thing.
Yeah. Based on, because the World Cup was here in '94, so based on those times and
the last time it was on this hemisphere in Brazil, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it dawned on us that maybe this was an opportunity to present to you, the P1, on a weekly or semi-regular basis, that kind of World Cup information, which seems niche, but is also really, if you want to be the smartest person in the room,
water cooler talk.
Water cooler talk, yeah.
Okay.
If you want to be sound smart about the World Cup leading up to the next year, the Kick-Around is your place to learn these things. So we're going to do this official new segment called World Cup Nerd.
Yeah. And
today we're going to start with the most basic of stuff, which is where we sit currently with qualifiers.
Yeah, because we're going to try to relate it to the theme du jour. What is going on related to World Cup, and the qualifiers are about to start. Some confederations will pick up for the first time. Some teams are going to play their first qualifiers now in September and October, some teams in Europe. Other confederations are well into the qualifying process, like in South America. Now, it's important to remember that we have 48 countries competing now in this expanded World Cup from 32 and the last few, 24 before that and 16 before that. So it'll be, in terms of number of teams, the biggest World Cup to date, the first one with 48. What does that mean, Peter? That means that some countries that have never qualified for the World Cup have a really, really good chance of qualifying for this one.
Especially in CONCACAF, because the 3 big CONCACAF nations automatically get through.
So they're out of the way in terms of having to compete with them.
U.S., Mexico, Canada.
Yeah, in terms of having to compete with them in order to qualify for the World Cup. And in the past, like when it was 32 countries, CONCACAF would have between 3 and 4 countries qualify. So, that's how Costa Rica would get through. Panama has qualified for their first one in 2018. Jamaica has played in one. Honduras has played in a couple. But now we have the opportunity for countries like Guatemala, who is a strong soccer nation in terms of soccer being a big part of their culture. Mm-hmm. It's considered a soccer nation. They've never qualified for a World Cup. And we have a few other countries like that in CONCACAF that have an opportunity. I think you had mentioned Haiti, right?
Yes, Haiti is in there, Curacao, Suriname, all of those nations that have never even really dreamt. Guatemala's one. I mean, Guatemala, I think, got really close once to qualify.
Yeah, not really. El Salvador's the other one.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, those are two. El Salvador is one of the most, in terms of supporter fever for the sport, one of the most fanatical, and at least in the Western Hemisphere nations when it comes to soccer, and they've never qualified for a World Cup. So where we are now in the CONCACAF region is that qualifying will start or will re-pick up in early September with the final 12 teams that have the opportunity to advance. They'll be divided in 3 groups of 4 teams each. They'll play round robin within those groups, and the winner of the group advances to the World Cup.
And we learned last week, I think, that all of these games are being played here in the United States.
No, those are the that's the playoffs coming later. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
The second place teams in the group.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So these are home and aways group play between the the teams in these 3 groups in CONCACAF: Panama, El Salvador, Guatemala, Suriname. They're all in a group.
Right.
One of them will qualify directly to the World Cup. Second place will have a chance to qualify into the playoffs. Group B is and this is key, Group B is made up of all Caribbean teams: Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, Curacao, and Bermuda. So we will automatically have one team from the Caribbean qualify straight through to the World Cup.
Bermuda.
They could be the ones if they've finished top of their group. Obviously, Jamaica is favored there. And then Group C, Costa Rica, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. So there we have 4 countries that are soccer nations in terms of it being the most popular sport and soccer being a big part of their culture. One of them will qualify straight through to the World Cup. Costa Rica, obviously, is the favored one to get out of that group. Okay?
Okay.
So that's CONCACAF.
Yep.
Right? Now we go to Europe. Europe is kind of crazy because half the teams in Europe haven't even started the World Cup qualifying process because they've been playing Nations League. It's that new tournament.
Yeah,
that
we
UEFA
talked about this the other day. There are some groups that have teams like Norway's played, I think, 4 games already, but in the same group, Italy's only played twice.
Right. So there are some groups with 4 teams in the group. There are some groups with 5 teams in the group. Again, round robin within group play, the group winners advance directly to the World Cup. Second place teams advance to the playoffs. And this is where UEFA loses me because they also bring in second place finishers of Nations League, and it gets really complicated. I don't know. So there are really no surprises out of Europe yet because nobody's close to finishing their World Cup qualifying process, and the usual suspects will go through. But there'll be a European team or 2 probably that have never qualified for the World Cup qualifying for their first time. And there are some true soccer nations in Europe that have never played in a World Cup.
That is crazy. That. And there's also a chance Italy doesn't qualify again.
Right. That's the thing out of Europe is Italy has been struggling to qualify for World Cups, which is
the craziest thing.
And sometimes we'll have, like in 1994 for the World Cup in the U.S., France was considered one of the World Cup favorites for 94, and they didn't even qualify into the tournament because they lost their last game against, I think it was Bulgaria, in an upset, and they did not advance. Bulgaria with Stoichkov did, and they finished top 4. So,
what about Africa, Andy?
Africa is divided into a crazy amount of groups, like 9 groups of 4 teams each, or 6 teams each, and the group winner advances. Africa is one of the toughest continents to qualify from. Again, we're mid process, so half the games are still left to play. Those will all happen through September and October. But right now, it doesn't look that there are any major surprises out of Africa.
What about Comoros? A country of less than 1 million people. I think they're leading their group right now.
Yeah, but they have games. A bigger team has games played in hand over them.
Okay.
And I think that's why. Ghana is now clearly in first.
Okay,
They've
all right.
caught up in games, so Ghana will qualify out of there.
And then Asia.
Asia is they've already qualified some teams.
Mm-hmm. Japan and
it's Japan, South Korea. Japan and South Korea qualify for just about every World Cup over the last 10, 11 editions, which is crazy.
Australia.
I mean, they're out of Asia, so the competition is not as high as Europe, but it's still a pretty good feat by those two countries to advance. But we do have some new participants that will be playing in the World Cup for the first time out of Asia. Those are you know who they are?
That have qualified?
Yep.
I don't know.
I'll tell you. Jordan, and for the sake of time, Jordan qualified for the first World Cup ever.
That's right. I'd forgotten.
And Uzbekistan has qualified for the first time ever.
The other one that's close is Indonesia, and that's only interesting locally because FC Dallas's goalkeeper, Martin Paz, who is Dutch, changed his nationality to play for Indonesia because his grandmother was Indonesian. So he's been in goal for them of late.
So he could play in a World Cup if they advance.
He could play in a World Cup.
Yeah, but the Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, those are strong countries. Iraq that are still fighting to qualify, and they're probably the ones that will prevail. South America, by the way, Argentina has qualified as a defending champion. Used to be that the defending champion did not have to qualify over the last, I think, 3 World Cups. Now they have to qualify for World Cup. They've gone through. Brazil, the only country to have qualified for every World Cup, has qualified officially now, and so has Ecuador. South America, as you know, every team plays every team, round robin.
Home and away.
Home and away, 18 games over 3 years. It's grueling. It's, many say, the toughest confederation to qualify from, and every country is basically still in play except Chile and Peru.
And then the last one is Oceania, and that one's cool because there's a very good chance we could get some tiny little Pacific Island nation in the World Cup.
Yeah, so for the first time, because it's expanded to 48 teams, Oceania has an automatic berth, and New Zealand got that berth because they're far and away the best team in Oceania. Because remember now, Australia broke away from that confederation. They play in Asia. It was their way of making their soccer program stronger, and it's worked. So New Zealand, it's a cakewalk for them. They advanced and qualified for the World Cup, but they get a second possible berth. New Caledonia, because they played in the final of the Oceania qualifying process, they have qualified for the playoffs. So what the playoffs are in March, all these second-place teams from all these confederations get to advance to a playoff that will be held, and that's what will be held perhaps in the U.S. Or Canada or Mexico. They
somewhere
haven't said.
In the 3 host nations.
Yeah.
Right.
So they'll have an opportunity to beat somebody, but it'll be somebody strong. That's the thing. I don't think New Caledonia has much of a chance to qualify for the World Cup. But the fact that they're getting to the playoff for them is a big deal.
That would be the World Cup for them.
Yeah.
It's coming to one of the 3 North American nations and playing at least one game to qualify for the big tournament. Would be a big deal to them for sure.
All right, so the important takeaway from all this is there's a lot of qualifying still to be had, September, October, November, for us to then know for the draw in December that we spoke about, which countries will go in that pot that will then be drawn into groups.
December 5th at the Sphere in Vegas, the World Cup draw for 2026. The drama will be high because that is the single best determiner of how your favorite team is going to do, is how the draw turns out for them.
Yep, it's all about how strong your group is.
Or weak.
Or weak,
for sure. All right. We did it, Andy. World Cup nerd. We'll do a World Cup nerd about World Cup soccer balls, World Cup kits, World Cup draw, World Cup
rule changes.
We'll do one
fascinating history.
Yes. We'll do one specifically about Pele.
Sure. Pele only.
Pele World Cup nerd.
Yeah.
All right. New soccer segment. When we come back, we will also now pull out a long-forgotten kick-around segment. It's time to do an eat-around next on the kick-around. Lionel Messi and the Barbie watch. I will explain what that means coming up in about 15 minutes on America's favorite soccer segment, known as The Dribble. But it is now time to pull out of the bag a segment we have not done in a long time, probably Andy's favorite. It's time for the EatAround. Andy, are you excited about the EatAround?
Of course. Thank all the P1s that have been clamoring for it, sending emails. You finally caved, Peter. Thank you.
I did, and that's because we got an email.
Yeah.
And the email was from, who was it from? Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas. And Thomas wrote, let's see, we've got actually we have actual production for this. Here we go. Salutations, gentlemen. As a dedicated listener of the program for many years, I distinctly remember Andy recommending one, if not multiple, restaurants in Rome. And I can't remember them to save my life. As I'm going in October to get married, congratulations, Andy, can it possible to get some recommendations of restaurants in Rome? I'll also be in Florence if you have anything that can't be missed. Love the show. It's Dallas Treasure. Oh, sweet of you. And you guys have helped me mature in my football fandom. Thank you kindly, Thomas. Well, first off, Thomas, congratulations on the nuptials. Are you marrying an Italian lass, I wonder? Or just getting married in Italy, I wonder. Or maybe that's where they're going on their honeymoon, where they will make little Thomases.
Getting married there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, yes, in fact, Thomas, we can help you, and it feels appropriate to break out the appropriate music for that.
So I think he is confusing us because you did take a trip to Italy that we spoke about on the show, and you went to Rome and Florence.
2017 or 18, one of the two.
Yeah, and I think I was in Rome last a couple years after that, right before COVID. But I don't think I recommended any specific restaurants. But my advice, and a lot of it depends. We're talking specifically about Rome. You've been to Florence, so
Rome and Florence.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But Florence specifically, that I haven't been to Florence proper, just Tuscany. But my advice for eating out in Rome, particularly, kind of depends a little bit how long you have in Rome and what you're going to be doing in Rome, because your first trip to Rome hopefully entails going to a lot of the historic sites. That's like must things to do in Rome. It's the oldest city in the world, blah blah blah. So you have to do that, and that takes time, and sometimes you're stuck in certain neighborhoods. But if from the culinary point of view, what you have to do in Rome, more than a restaurant you have to go into particular, is you have to try certain dishes. The dishes are the four classic pastas of Rome, starting with cacio e pepe. That's a very simple dish prepared with salt and pepper and pasta water. That's it. And then you build from there. The pasta gricia is those same ingredients. You add guanciale, which is the cheek of a pig, right? And then to that you have a carbonara if you add egg. And then if you substitute the egg with tomato sauce, you have a matriciana. Those are the four classic pasta dishes in Rome, what they're known for. So find a restaurant, pick one of those dishes, find a restaurant where you want to try one of those that makes it well. Now, this is the thing, and maybe you differ because I know you have some restaurant recommendations, is those chains, the best and the in restaurant to go to and what might be serving the best cacio e pepe at any given time might change and might evolve, because a lot of these restaurants, when they get hit with a lot of tourists, the essence of the restaurant changes and they become more formulaic and it loses its je ne sais quoi. So that'll change. My recommendation, when you go get ice cream, ask the person behind the ice cream counter, hey, where do you get your cacio e pepe? Where do you go for carbonara? Or when you go get a slice of pizza at lunch, or when you catch a cab or an Uber, ask the Uber driver. Ask those kind of people, not the concierge at the hotel, but perhaps the waiter or waitress at breakfast. Ask them, hey, where do you go for your carbonara? That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that is really good advice. And because it has been a while since my wife and I went, I think it was 2017. It was for our 20th wedding anniversary. What I will tell you is a food simpleton. I am not a foodie on Andy's level. What I will tell you is like pretty much any average dude, you hear people talk about going to Italy and eating the food there, and their immediate reaction is, OMG, you have no idea how much better it is or how good it is until you eat it. And I always heard that before going, and what does that mean? Like, I lived in New York City, went to a couple of really, really good Italian restaurants. I think I know what good Italian food is. And I'm not talking about Olive Garden. I'm like, things that people say are really good Italian restaurants. And then we landed in Rome, and that night I went to a restaurant called La Polla Roya.
La Polla Roya. Mm-hmm.
And I sat down at the table, and I had this most simple-looking ravioli. I don't even know why, because I don't think I like ravioli, but the person told me to get it, and I put it in my mouth, and it was unbelievably good. Mm-hmm. And I can't even explain why. And everything I ate from there until we left Italy was amazing from then on out.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, you basically can't go wrong.
No.
Right. So the other recommendation I have, which goes to your point too, is, you might be in the historic district during the day because you're going to the ruins and the Colosseum and all that. At night, when you're done with all that, cross the river, and there's a neighborhood called Trastevere. Now, there are tourists that go there as well, but it's a walking neighborhood with lots of restaurants and bars and ice cream shops and pizza places. Just walk around, take it in, and then you'll identify restaurants you want to go to. If you are a Bourdain fan, I would recommend going to Roman.
What's a Bourdain fan?
Anthony Bourdain.
Oh.
Roman Sparita. Mm-hmm. That's where if you've never had cacio e pepe, go get your first cacio e pepe there. It's a little bit formulaic, but you can sit outside and take it all in. Anthony Bourdain went there, and they still play up to that.
Right.
Other than that, any restaurant in that neighborhood is going to be great.
It's so amazing how good stuff is.
Now, let's go to Florence, because I know that you want to, the one thing you're going to want to do in Italy is get gelato.
I will talk about that second.
Hold on.
Okay.
But that's what I'm going to say. If you have to get gelato in Rome, fine, get gelato. It's going to be delicious. But if you're also going to Florence,
get gelato.
Peter,
yes,
this is where you come in.
Yes. The place that I stumbled across, there is a cathedral in Florence known as the Duomo, and if you first off, you should take the full tour of the Duomo and scale all the way up into the dome, go outside the dome and see the landscape. That is one of the coolest things you will ever do. But in an alleyway, one of the tiny little streets next door to it, there is a gelato place called La Strega Nocilia. I don't know how to pronounce it.
La Strega Nocilia.
Thank you. And they are one of the original gelato manufacturers in Italy. They help make it popular. And I went in there one day with my wife. We stumbled across it. Nobody had said anything. We went in, and the person that didn't speak English essentially put in my face this flavor called buntanelli.
Okay.
It's just a cream with a mascarpone in it. It was maybe even hazelnut, things that I just by nature would not have got. Wait, it's not mint chip?
Yeah, right, yes. Hey, nothing wrong with mint chip.
It was so good, I wanted to take a bath in it. I would have eaten a gallon of this. It was
they have
so
a gelato
good.
Flavor. It's like cream flavor or something.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It is.
Right.
And so you should go there. If anybody wants to know, send us a note. I'll send you links to all these places. The other thing that we did, because I'm a Texan and I love steak, is we had a Florentine steak.
Bistecca alla Florentina.
And we went to a place called Trattoria Stanza, which is famous specifically for steaks. Yeah. And it was really, really good.
So glad you brought that up, because there's 3 dishes. If you're in Florence in the Tuscany region, you have to eat. One of them is a steak alla Fiorentina. If you don't do steak medium rare, you're going to have to give that up once to eat it, because that's the only way you eat steak alla Fiorentina. It's medium rare. Charred on the outside, medium rare on the inside. It's delicious. So but there are 2 other dishes that you have to get if you're in Florence. And if you have time to rent a car and go a little bit into Tuscany, the peachy with wild boar ragu. Peachy is like a thick spaghetti. It's a Tuscany pasta shape.
Such a nerd.
Wild boar ragu. It's the Tuscany national dish. It's
right.
So make sure you have a bowl of pasta, and if you don't leave Florence, they'll have it in Florence. It'll be just as good. And then on the street, get a porchetta sandwich. You have got to do that all over Tuscany, but if you're in Florence, do it.
I will say the one thing you should take the opportunity to do, my wife and I were very lucky when we were in Florence, but I think you could pretty much do this in any Italian town, is go to the local team's soccer game, that is, if there's being played. So we went to a Fiorentina game, and we took a car there.
The Violets.
We took a car there. But then after the game, we realized we were only 2 or 2.5 miles back to our hotel, and the thing between us and the hotel was a neighborhood. So we walked back.
Smart.
And we just stopped at a random restaurant in this neighborhood, and it was such a fantastic experience. I would recommend all of that to anybody.
Yep.
If you go to Italy, take in a soccer game, go eat the food. And if you're going to go do the whole Mount Vesuvius Pompeii thing, make sure you also stop at a place called Herculaneum. It's the other story to the eruption of Vesuvius.
Yes, that's on the other side.
About. It's on the
southern side. And he's going to be in Rome and Florence. So takeaways, at least my takeaways or giveaways is in Rome. Talk to the locals. Find out where, and I would recommend the carbonara. Find out where some of the locals go eat their carbonara, and then walk around Trastevere neighborhood, and then in Florence and Tuscany. That restaurant that you sit at, that you find that House Peter recommends, if you're going to only have one meal, do the steak alla Fiorentina. If you have another lunch or another dinner in you, the pizza with wild boar ragu.
And eat the gelato.
There you go.
It's really good. The gelato on display is not the good stuff. The gelato that is in the frozen tubs with the lids, that's the really true expert-made gelato.
Now, part of why the food is just simply better there is the ingredients are just better.
It's better.
The ingredients are better, and everything's more fresh. And
all right, you feel like you got it up? We did.
Yeah, we had a lot to say. Hopefully, Thomas appreciates the advice and can take advantage of it.
Congratulations, KickAround P1 Thomas, on your wedding nuptials. We need pics sent to us. We can share them with everybody.
Other P1s that want eat-arounds.
And children must be named Peter and Andy, of course.
Don't forget to send emails, P1s, if you want more eat-arounds.
KickAround radio at gmail.com. All right, we come back. It's America's favorite soccer segment known as The Dribble next. Now I'm hungry. Now I want to... Can we just hop on a plane, go back to Italy, and eat?
John, no kidding.
So good.
I have to take matters in my own hands.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants, help on going to Rome or whatever, Andy and I have probably got pre-made lists that we share with friends and stuff. Andy, do you mind sharing yours with P1s if anybody wants it?
No, we just had a segment.
I know, but people are in cars. They didn't write it down. Nobody's going to remember the name of those restaurants.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to give you names of restaurants because that changes. I'm going to tell you what dishes to get.
Well, my list I've double-checked to make sure at least those restaurants are still open.
Alive?
Right,
okay.
They're still in business. Let's do America's favorite soccer segment known as The Dribble. Okay, now, first off, I have to talk about this because, Andy, this was shocking, even for FIFA. This is so amazing. So, Daniel Robertson, as you know, sends me a note. I think it was Thursday morning. Hey, and he's like, Peter, have you seen this? What FIFA has put up for sale? Now, we told you, I think a week ago, that FIFA had opened up the form that would allow you to apply for the right to go into the lottery to be able to purchase tickets.
Now, they've one-upped that. Okay. If you're a Visa card member, they're going to have a special lottery.
Not a government Visa.
Corporate. No. Yes, charge card Visa, right?
Make sure you clarify that.
Yes. If you're a Visa holder, card holder, you can apply for another lottery, which is open only to Visa card holders. That opens on September 10th. It'll be open for a couple weeks. You can go on the FIFA website and get more info on that. And then you can apply on that registration platform to get tickets ahead of anybody for general tickets. This is general tickets. We've already said that hospitality tickets
are different,
open and available.
And a lot more expensive. Yeah. But now, here's the deal. We have no idea what general admission, regular single ticket games are going to cost yet. We don't know. But so Daniel sends me this note saying, and it's a link specifically to what is match 32. Which is a United States group stage game in Seattle. We obviously don't know who it's going to be.
Nope. We will find out when?
Well, December 5th.
Okay.
But what it was, if you click on the link, it took you to an option that FIFA opened up on Thursday called Right to Buy. So instead of filling out the form and hoping you won in the lottery to buy, you could bypass that by just giving FIFA some money up front.
Okay. So that now trumps everything, right?
So in this case, for a mere $750.
Yeah, reimbursable?
They opened up a limited number of spots for you to give them that $750 to be able to, what they call right to buy tickets when they announce what that game is and how much tickets cost. So it's
like when you go to Disneyland and you pay money to cut in line.
Cut in line. It's exactly what it is. It's a fast pass.
Okay.
Now, FIFA did this in limited numbers, and they did it for different things. So this was very specific U.S. men's national team in Seattle. There was another one, for example, if you wanted to get prepay for the right to buy tickets to go see any of the games being played here in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, you could pay $300.
Okay, $750 was just an elevated price because it was U.S. national
It's
team.
very specifically U.S. men's national team.
So that's dynamic pricing depending on the venue.
And there was also various numbers of packages available. Depending. For example, there was an option to prepay to go see Mexico in Mexico City on opening day.
Okay, that's a hot ticket.
That's a very hot ticket. The right to buy purchase up front for that was $3,000.
So that's the right to cut in line.
Yes.
And then you buy the ticket.
So if I was just doing my calculations on this particular set of deals.
I see that you have your calculator out.
FIFA had generated well over $1 million without selling a single ticket.
Okay. I guess if you can do it, do it.
And here's the thing. They all sold out. So for everybody that is running around worrying and fretting about the success of the World Cup in North America next year, I think we can already tell it's going to be a massive success.
So what is next for FIFA? They say, okay, we're going to open it up to 20 more cut-in-line tickets.
I guess. I mean, they literally, it appears they sold now they're rolling these out in over a period of time.
Okay.
I don't know how many more they've done. There's been some for Brazil and Germany and England, and all of those have sold.
Okay. So I know we have other stuff to get to, but just thinking out loud here, you cut in line by buying. Now you have the right to buy the tickets. If you don't want to, now if you find out that the U.S. is playing or whatever, you buy a ticket to a game you don't know who's going to play. Once you find out who's playing, you don't want to go to that game.
That's okay. So here's this is the catch.
Can you buy the tickets and transfer the tickets? That's the question.
We don't know.
No, that's TBD.
Yeah. As you said last week, don't go into this assuming that you will spend $500 to buy a ticket that you assume you can turn around and sell for $1,000, $1,500, or whatever, because FIFA cracks down on that in ways nobody else does.
Yeah, they're going to have a mechanism to transfer tickets, to resell tickets, but it's not to make money. It's just to basically move the tickets that you don't need.
Right. And here's the caveat to this right to buy skip in line process. Remember, you have no idea what this resulting ticket is going to cost you. So in the case of Daniel and the $750, him and Armand apparently split that.
Okay.
Because there's two tickets. It's the right to buy two tickets.
Okay,
yes.
You didn't mention that. Now it's a bargain.
In this particular one, so they split it between themselves.
Okay.
They'll go on a date to Seattle to watch the national team.
Okay.
If those tickets end up being a price that you are like, oh, good Lord, no way am I spending that amount of money, and you forfeit your right to buy, you don't get the $750 back.
All right. Okay. You're paying for your right to decide whether you want tickets or not.
Okay.
Ahead of everybody else.
Have they done this in a previous?
No, I don't recall anything like this.
Because the other thing that I see, this is where I think the rest of the world of football is quickly becoming to hate America, because not only is this kind of thing that's very popular here in the United States happening, but I heard the other day that Manchester United, they're building a new stadium. Mm-hmm. They're talking about putting personal seat licenses out, which apparently has never been done in England before. Which is the right to purchase a seat in advance by buying a license. It's exactly what Jerry did with
Peter,
the
those
Death Star.
Player salaries are expensive. You got to pay for the salaries, man. Hey, that's the modern way, and FIFA is certainly taking advantage of the sports ticket culture here in the U.S.
Yeah, man, I'm forewarning everybody in this Metroplex. You have no idea what's getting ready to come here in May, June of next year. It's just going to be nuts. Here's our pre-required Cumulus Messi segment. 2 pieces of news. First off, the Leagues Cup is going on right now, which is the crazy. Have you watched a single moment of Leagues Cup?
Highlights on Twitter when I'm scrolling.
Okay, so this is the tournament that MLS stops down for, and it's MLS versus Liga MX games. This is all the precursor to the 2 leagues merging at some point after the World Cup, we predict. But this year they did something interesting. They divided MLS teams into one category and Liga MX into the other group, and every game in the first 3 rounds is an MLS club versus a Mexican club.
Yeah, first 3 rounds. It's like every team plays 3 games.
Every team plays 3 games.
A team in the other group.
Against a team from the other country. So we've had some really interesting games so far.
And then the top 4 finishers advance, right, in each group.
Correct.
So 4 U.S. teams, 4 MLS teams, and 4 Liga MX teams will advance. So the 3 games that you play, a lot of it depends how many points you get is based on how good your opposition is, too. I'm sure they worked all that out, though, like strength of schedule and all that, probably.
And so on the first night, there was like 3 or 4 nights in a row of Leagues Cup round 1. On the first night, MLS teams, by and large, got skunked. But by the time the first round was over, do you know what the record was?
They didn't lose in that last couple dates, right?
The U.S. or MLS went 8-5-5 against Liga MX over
That's
the course
overall
for the first round.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, but the last few games they went undefeated. I think
Correct.
the last date.
I'm talking about round
games.
1.
Yeah, 8-5-5. Okay,
Yeah, round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some big clubs. Club America lost their game.
Okay.
Monterrey, I think, lost their
Liga
game.
MX is in their recess, right? This is preseason for them.
Very early in their aperture. I think they're 3 games into their new season.
All right. Okay. So now, it's kind of like MLS when they go into Champions Cup, right? Same thing.
Correct. Now, obviously, FC Dallas did not qualify for Leagues Cup, so they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs.
How do you qualify?
Messi,
based on last year's standings, is that?
Yes, last year's standing.
Got it.
Messi's team was in it, and his bodyguard. Now, remember, Messi has a bodyguard that follows him around in Miami all the time. Well, his bodyguard at the end of the Miami game got into it with the players from Atlas and Miami got into it after the game. And even though Messi wasn't involved in it, the bodyguard stepped out onto the field.
Yeah. To separate players.
To separate players. That's a no-no because he's not an official. He's Messi's bodyguard, not... So he has been banned from all future games.
Yeah. MLS, I think, already restricted how much he could do. And this is Leagues Cup, so they probably opened it up a little bit again. And again, he...
And the last thing about Messi
himself.
is that, remember, Messi was suspended because he didn't play in the All-Star game. So he got suspended in Miami's game against Cincinnati in Miami. But he did show up to the game. That's what a good teammate he is.
Yeah, with the new signing. They sat together.
That's right. Rodrigo De Paul.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, played very well in their game in League
He's the protector.
Yes, he is.
He's the on-field bodyguard.
Yes, he's going to be just fine. Messi showed up sporting his brand new Rolex, the Barbie Rolex, which is Inter Miami pink, worth.
Let me guess. 82?
$82?
Yeah, 82.
No.
82 big ones.
No, it's worth just under $1 million.
Oh, wow. That was way off.
It is a bespoke Rolex Daytona with pink diamonds around the bezel.
So I meant 820.
Rose gold.
8,200.
Yes.
So 820.
Thank you, Peyton Yeager. Well done. So, yes, he rolled out the fancy, messy Barbie Rolex, they're calling it, although it's very Inter Miami pink. So we've checked off the Cumulus box there by talking about Messi. Ratings will roll in. Congratulations, Andy.
Nice.
We did it, Andy.
Somehow got through, huh?
We did.
I got 14% left on my battery in my computer, so just in time.
Just in time.
How long is 14% computer? 8 minutes?
On your computer?
3 minutes?
Probably seconds, yes.
On my computer.
Your computer's hurting, Andy.
Yeah, it is.
It is hurting.
It is.
All right. Well, Andy, thank you. We'll be back next week for sure. Dixon, thank you for doing tickers. EA, thank you for producing. And Trammell, thank you, sir, for running the board. As I said, there will be another Kick Around next week with Andy and I. P1s, we love and adore you. Go on out there, get stuck in, win your 50s. And I put it in my mouth, and it was unbelievably good.